We are back with functional medicine Dr. Anya Szigeti, not only to taste these delicious wraps we just made in the Bloom Kitchen, but to talk about her health journey that led her into this line of work. Thank you for sticking around.
This is great, Gail. Thank you for having me.
So I want to taste it.
Yes,
it's so good. Let me take a little bite of this.
Yes, and you'll get the crunchiness from the collard green wrap, which I think is going to be so different from what you're used to from a regular tortilla. And I love that. And then all the brightness from all the different flavors of all the different vegetables that we put in there as well.
You know, I was dreading eating the collard green wrap. It's really good.
A lot of people are, actually. That's very common. Anytime I mention this recipe, people are like, ew, raw collard greens? And I'm like, don't knock it till you try it, because they are delicious.
And they're sturdy.
Yes. Yes, that's kind of my concern sometimes with the lettuce wrap, because I'm putting so many ingredients in that are actually kind of heavy. Like the cucumbers are very water heavy, which is great. They're very hydrating, but sometimes they can weigh down a cucumber, or I'm sorry, a lettuce wrap.
Right, this is so good. So let's talk a little bit about your journey. I know it because we've worked with you for years now on Bloom, but for viewers that don't know the backstory, you found your way into functional medicine because of your own health journey.
Yes, exactly, Gail. So we've both talked about the fact that we had thyroid imbalances, and I had digestive issues for years. And I wasn't getting good answers with conventional medicine, unfortunately. And so I was struggling, and I was suffering, and I was feeling very, very hopeless and helpless. And like you, we're both very high-achieving women, and I wasn't ready to sit back and let that be my health destiny.
Yeah, and I think if I could just try to explain this to people, because I had to really jump through a lot of hoops to find a doctor that was not only going to address the medications I might need for my thyroid, hypothyroidism, but to address me holistically. And food ended up playing a major role in, bringing my health into balance. And I didn't realize how bad I felt, because I was just kind of white-knuckling my way through life. Until I felt better again.
Exactly.
It's like a real game changer.
And it's very concerning because it starts very slowly, unfortunately. The symptoms kind of creep in slowly. So it's not like someone just turned a light switch and we felt terrible one day, right? It's like very slowly over time, you're less productive, you're more tired, you just don't want to do things anymore. And so it's almost like sucking the joy out of your life one day at a time. And then to try to get to the other side of it, yes, until I found a holistic functional doctor to work with, I wasn't feeling better. And once I did, it was like such a transition and transformation for my health and my life, because I was able to be productive again, be an active participant in my life again. It just changed everything for me. And so I made the decision to quit my high stress job and to go to school to be able to help others, because I knew that there were others that were suffering as I was.
Well, a lot of people, I read somewhere, 80% of the population, especially women, are suffering from some type of thyroid condition. And what they don't realize is it doesn't just impact the way you feel, but it's hair loss, it's fog, brain fog. It's also feeling emotionally off kilter.
Yes. If we look at the thyroid hormone itself, it is every single cell in our body needs it. So when it's off, it's going to affect every single cell in our body. And then there's 7 major organ systems that we need to actually make the transfer from inactive to active thyroid hormone. And so if any of those systems aren't working well, it's going to affect the production of thyroid hormone within our body. And you alluded to women, especially, unfortunately, have about a 10 times higher prevalence for thyroid imbalances than men do.
Why is that?
I think that we're very emotional and then beings, which is fantastic, but there's an emotional connection with some of our health. And so we're much more susceptible to that as women.
I think you're very much on point of that, because when my thyroid took a turn for the worse and really flatlined was when I was caring for both of my parents, who were both at the end of life. And it was very much weight as far as trying to juggle waking up at 1:30 in the morning to come here to do the morning news, a family of 4, my husband and my parents.
Yes.
But then the emotional tie of losing 2 people that played such a significant role in my life was really heavy. And it put me on a downward spiral with my health condition, which I think is also important, that you help people find balance in their life, because if you think that you're Superwoman, you're going to find out quickly that the kryptonite is somewhere out there, and it's going to get you.
Exactly. And if we really take the time to look back on our health journey, I think most of us can identify certain points in our life, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a high stress job or losing a job, being laid off, having to move, having a miscarriage, losing a parent, having an ill parent. all of these things play a role in our health, and I don't think that it's appreciated enough or talked about enough. And very often, those sorts of situations are the ones that happen, and then our health is declining soon after that.
Yeah, we've done a lot of episodes here on Bloom about the body keeps the score.
Yes.
So you may work through those things physically in life, but your body's still hanging on to those different traumas, and it manifests in the form of disease and not feeling well.
Exactly, exactly. So for my own journey, I used a lot of different tools to be able to help me work through the different emotional components of the traumas that I experienced so that my body could release them and move on and actually go to heal.
Well, I have to say, I was one of the naysayers. I was like, well, I'll take one for the team and I'll eat it for Dr. Anya, but I actually really, really enjoyed this. It was so delicious. You should try it again. It's in your cookbook, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, so we're going to share Dr. Anya's story on BloomTampaBay.com and more about You Can't Outrun Your Fork. And we'll be back with more Bloom right after this.